Folks, we are live. How the hell are you? And you are all very welcome to
this interrupted Mike.
What?
You interrupted Mike. Mike was supposed to say, we're live. I
went like that. Shut up, Brosnan.
Yeah, all right. Brosnan, it's not your show. Your show was on Monday, so shut the.
This is not Monday night now, Brosnan. I'm fucking back in your box.
Exactly. This is the proper show, folks. As before I was rudely interrupted, you are more than welcome to this Thursday's show, Mauls, Balls and Alls, the proper one. And we are now. Shut up, Brosnan, please. You're on my show now. Now, for those of you joining in expecting to see Luke Pearce, unfortunately, as I said earlier on, he cannot join us outside of his controls and our controls, but he will. Oh, Christ almighty, I'll get through this intro.
Oh, that's the time, Dara.
Oh, jeez, I'm after removing him. Danny, you're adding Dara, and I'm after removing him. So will you add him to the stage? Hold on. Comedy of errors. There we go. Dara Brosnan, how the hell are you?
Dara Brosnan.
Dumber running the show.
Dara Brosnan, yes. I called him Dara Brosnan on purpose because it was a joint effort. Anyway, folks.
I'll have my lawyer on to your lawyer about that defamation. Kerryman High Hole.
Peter started so you can start with him.
I'll start so I'll finish, as Magnus Magnusson used to say. A lot of you won't have a clue who he is. Right, we are now... Jesus Christ, we're now nearly a minute and a half in. Welcome to this week's edition of Mauls, Balls and All. Joining me is our familiar faces. We have Dara Weston, who is the consummate late arrival. We have Matt Boland. We have Mike Reedy. Thanks, Dara, I can see you. And we have the host of Monday's show, The Breakdown, Danny Brosnan, with us. Gentlemen, how the hell are you? Are you as well?
Sound.
Great.
Excellent. Well
Great.
done.
Fucking
Okay,
lucky to
good,
have me here.
good.
Never mind complaining about me being late.
Yeah, all right. Okay. I see people logging in here. Bevan Marie, has Danny been on the Thursday show before? Yes, he has, Bevan. He has.
Yeah,
and then he came out with a terrible rash.
Yes, he now won't be back ever again.
We couldn't afford the
I wasn't going off. I was actually one of your OG members here in this podcast, along with Peter and Richard Holland. But with the Monday night show, what happened was I said I'd take more of a back seat, just focus on that. So there you go.
Yeah, the Monday night is more structured towards the country members with the subtitles included in it. Thursday nights, we tend not to.
Yeah, we only include subtitles for people from Clontarf.
I'm a culture you don't forget.
You're a go away.
Are we all kind of finished? Can we just get on to?
If you want to tell us what you want to do, go ahead.
Can we all just stop for a second, please? Thank you.
Happy Christmas as well, Dara.
Danny, shut up for a second, please. Right now, Dara Weston. Let's go on. To what we are supposed to be talking about and not what we are arguing about. Okay, Dara Weston. We had yesterday Andy Farrell's squad announcement. Some people loved it, but a lot of people did not like it. That there was a lack of foresight, there was a lack of imagination, there was a lack of... I suppose what Fabien Galtier did a year or two ago with the French squad, and he brought in a load of new hires, so to speak, new caps, this sort of thing. If we look at the squad, Dara, in the forwards, there is one uncapped player, that is a Dogbo. If we look at the backs, there is one uncapped player, Nathan Doak. A lot of people criticize Andy for playing it safe and not really having the broad-mindedness to bring in more players. Like we'll actually go on to who's been unlucky. But your initial thoughts, Dara, on the squad?
Yeah, I mean, you could say that, but then look at the 15s who are playing.
I just did.
There's only two of them who've previously been capped, so that would say that players are going through that system and then coming up and getting capped at the upper level. I mean, look, there's two things here. The old adage about throwing a baby out with the bathwater or something like that. Yes, we have to prepare for the World Cup, but we also still have a job to do in the Six Nations. because the Six Nations is worth more money than the World Cup is, and there's a lot less expense because we don't have to fly to Australia for 6 weeks with like 50 something people, including support staff, and then all the Blazers from the IRFU and all that kind of stuff. So, you know, there's a certain element. You can never keep everybody happy. If he brought in a load of uncapped players and we didn't win a game and we got the wooden spoon, he'd be crucified and he'd be run out of the job.
That wouldn't happen. You know that wouldn't happen.
The old reliables, a base of old reliables, along with some other players who have, you know, maybe only single-digit caps, and brings them through, then, you know, and we win it, he's the hero. So, you know, I mean, it's he's effectively doing, effectively doesn't. The only thing I would say is, the only thing I'm glad to see a dog boat gone into, sorry for butchering his name, gone into the squad. I think himself and Big Joe Ryan would be immense as long as the two of them. You saw the two of them squaring up against United, shit your pants. The one thing that I did find strange though was JJ Kenny didn't even get into the 15s squad. Like, that guy has scored, what, 6 tries in 7 games for Leinster?
We'll come on to him, Darren, now. We'll come on to the unlucky people now in a minute. Yeah, no problem. Okay, thanks, Darren.
Sorry, I what you were asking
about. No. We'll come on to that in a minute. Thanks, Darren. Matt Boland, your thoughts on the squad? So go on.
Yeah, just on JJ Kenny, he's in the 15s, but it's not down as JJ Kenny, it's down as Joshua Kenny. So he's in the 15s. Just to clear it out.
Go on, Matt. Okay, go on, Matt. Your thoughts on the
Look, we've gone through this in depth plenty of times, and we know the deal with the Six Nations. It's our bread and butter. We need the money. We need to finish as high as possible. And we know they're not going to risk losing savage amount of money to blood players. We know this. That's what the 15s is going to have to be for. And we just have to get on board with that. In terms of the squad, there are probably a couple of names that were probably very close. The likes of JJ Kenny, who is in the 15s. The likes of Zach Ward, who is in the 15s. But this is why this 15s team now is so important, because that's going to need to be used to blood players, because they're going to play an England 15s, you know, although it's not the same test level, it's as good as they're going to get, because they're not going to get into the Six Nations squad. It's that simple. There's too much money involved. And as Dara has said, like the World Cup comes around every 4 years, 6 million is the prize on offer, right? The Six Nations comes around every year, and 6 to 7 million is the prize money every year. So, like in 4 years, if you win the Six Nations, you're 24 million, rather than waiting 4 years for 6 million. So it doesn't make economic sense for Ireland not to target the Six Nations for money. In terms of the squad, Andy Farrell, I think he's picked.
Sorry, Matt, just on that, I think it goes up as high as 10 million if you get a Grand Slam.
Yeah, exactly. So do you know what I mean? Like but that's the point I'm getting at. There's just too much money involved in the Six Nations for us to run the risk of throwing out a complete team that's uncapped, 23 players, and coming last and only earning $1 million out of fucking 10 million. It's just not good enough.
No, I'm not. No, Matt, I'm not suggesting throw out for the Six Nations to throw out a team of
but you mentioned Fabian Galte, which is what he did 2 years ago. We can't do that. We can't.
We could. I disagree. I disagree. We could. Anyway, okay. Thanks, Matt.
We absolutely could, but we're not. They're not going to, because there's too much money involved.
That is the crux of it. Yes, Matt. That is the crux of it. Mike Grady, did you just lift yourself up to fart? Or what did you do?
Yeah, indeed.
To try and take away
the pain. What did you do there? You went like that. What was that?
He's looking up for the rip. Relax. Leave him out.
Jesus Christ, you're off the Richter scale there on sound. Will you calm down?
He's had a hip replacement. If he wants to fucking move funnily, he can.
Go on,
Hey,
Mike.
you
Your
went
thoughts.
ahead, you have to get low
Bronson,
with it.
Bronson,
Are
seriously.
you finished?
Go on, Mike.
No, I agree with especially what Matt said there. You know, as regards it's the bread and butter of the finances of Irish rugby, and lads, we can't complain with what the decisions made by the IRFU in recent years, because our blueprint for our national team and the way rugby is run in Ireland is the envy of a lot of countries. And financially, we're a lot more stable than most. I mean, New Zealand are in absolute turmoil apparently with everything in their game at the moment. So
Okay, let's just stick with the point.
it's not good.
You have an awful habit of shooting off on a tangent about something I've never asked you about. So go on, the squad, Mike.
I'm trying to fucking explain the reasons for it. Shut up,
You were talking about fucking New Zealand there for a minute there. I'm not talking about New Zealand. Go on.
Well played, Mike. You tell him. He's acting like somebody's pissed his cornflakes.
Financially,
they did, Darren. You know. Go on, Mike. Go on.
We've got, the higher we finish in the Six Nations, the more money we get for it. No, and as the lad said, like, winning a Grand Slam is worth 9 million. So that's like, that kind of money is very hard to recoup in any other way. So I do think he was. He's not picked a very big squad, which surprised me a little bit, because I think he's only got about 14 backs or something like that. He probably could have stuck another two or three in there, but there are injuries that obviously that's made some of the decisions for him. But I'm really pleased, like, for, as the lad said, Ed the Dogbo, you know, I'm pleased that he's got a call up. He's an absolute machine, that boy. And Nathan Doak has played very well this year, and I mean, to me, what Richie Murphy has done with him has been phenomenal. And it's there probably was a facility there for maybe a couple of other lads, maybe a couple of the Connacht centres or something like that could have maybe got a shout, but
bit of a stress there, Mike, with Connacht centres.
Well, that Hugh Gavin looks a proper prospect, and
he's all right.
There's a few players that could still, and okay, we're not going to speak about the 15s team because we'll probably speak about it in a bit. But
all right.
Oh, there's not much more he could have done, lads. You know, we all want to do as well as we can in the Six Nations, and if you made fucking hundreds of changes, that's probably very unlikely to happen. It mightn't happen anyway, but we have to be positive, you know.
But he might be forced. He might. Sorry, Mike. He might be forced to make changes over the round 2 and round 3 and all that sort of stuff.
Albeit, like, Robbie Henshaw has gone through injury. I have to be honest. I do think Bundy is hanging on by his fucking fingernails now. You know, at this stage, and maybe there was
I think. Sorry, Mike. I think Connacht's finest, James Grennan, would agree with you on that.
Yeah, I just think, you know, there's maybe an opportunity to bring in even young Ward or Postlewaite, like, you know, as and of course we are going with the old
reliables. You know? Yes, yeah, no, I agree with you. Okay, I'll tell you what, Mike, I'll leave it there. Good points, and thank you, Mike. Dave Sheedy, of course, mentions the obvious. Happy birthday to Dara. Daz, the incredible Dara Weston is, of course, 25 plus VAT today. It's his birthday today. We've all recognised it. We've recognised it in the group as well. So we're not going to, keep bigging him up because he's been wished a happy birthday plenty of times.
We're not fucking wishing him happy birthday.
We wish you a happy birthday in the chat group and in the group, for Christ's sake. You got your very own dedicated post. Bev Anne-Marie, I think an uncapped team would be better during the summer and autumn internationals. Bev Anne again. I did think there would be a training squad in there, though, unless they have one after the 15 match. Actually, Bev, they probably, I suspect they might. James Gill. Danny, before I come to you about the squad, just get through a few of these. James Gill. Hi, James. How could he pick a bigger squad with a game on the next day?
Well, they're probably part of the squad, in fact.
Yeah. James Gill talking about Hugh Gavin. Hugh is injured. A bit of research would be no harm.
Fair enough.
Yeah. All right, James. We're not all knowing and all knowledge. Obviously, Mike wasn't aware of that. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said it. Bev Anne Marie. All central contract players will play unless they are injured. Unfortunately, even if they aren't playing on form. Yeah, very true, Bev. Yeah, okay. Danny Brosnan, your thoughts on the squad that Andy Farrell picked, and any surprises, inclusions, or omissions that you had a look at and you thought, okay.
But considering injuries and stuff like that, Joe, I think he named literally the strongest squad he had available. But as an alternative point to what lads were saying about the financial issues of the Six Nations, the other thing about the Six Nations is you always want to kind of get your best team out there with whoever's available. But going back to Bev Ann's 2 points as well, saying that Joe, which was it? Thinking an uncapped team would be better doing summer or autumn internationals. Going with the summer, that's probably the summer series and the way it's going now. Farrell would probably be better off getting the likes of Ward, JJ Kenny, Joe, a lot of the younger lads. That'd be the time to test them out now, because Joe, they're going on tour. You wouldn't have to run A games. You still get to keep people happy with Joe bringing new players, blood them at a high level, and seeing if they're worth Joe bringing through or not. So there has to be some part of the balance between blooding new players and getting the financial rewards of the Six Nations. But other than that, I'd say it was more or less the squad I expected him to choose for the Six Nations, and for the opening 2 rounds as well, considering players and injuries and all that anyway. So to be honest with you, I'm not overly surprised with what he picked with that. Yes, Darren Brosnan.
Can I? No, I'm asking the teacher. Can I make a point?
Go ahead.
Okay. So your point about Galtier, I'll blow it out of the water in one sentence. Okay.
Go ahead. Please do.
Galtier doesn't need money to support teams. Teams in France are privately owned and self-sufficient. The IRFU have to support 4 provinces. So you said about Galtier can go and pick a whole new squad and uncapped players and all that. Yeah, because he doesn't give it. Money is not a concern for him. Whether they win or lose.
Who finances the FFRU?
The FFRU, the international games. But what I'm saying is the FFRU don't finance any of the French club teams. The IRFU finance 4 club teams, the provinces. And France don't have centrally contracted players. So they don't have a lot of expenses that we have.
A very good point, yes.
The other point I'd like to make is, Mike, when you're cleaning your glasses, don't put them down by your waist and start going like that, because people might get the wrong idea.
Well, I can't see it when I'm doing that, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, okay, right. Well, we believe you. Sorry,
I just want to
Niall Steins. Hi, Niall. How are you? Niall Steins says, if we all chipped in a $5 and increase the winnings from 6.5 to 6.5003. Yes, man. Thanks, Niall.
Have a challenger for the James Grannon's title. Dave
Sheehan, you missed a burp taking a grumpy award tonight, even with yes, I am, David. I am, and you know why I'm annoyed.
It's because Brosnan has won them all.
Anyway, James Gill. If I know, smiley face, you boys should be aware. Yes, okay. Michael Collins. Hi, Michael. Great Irish name. Are many heading to Galway on Saturday? I'm certainly not, but I presume a few are. Anyone going to the game?
No. I can't. There's a massive aviation conference starting basically Sunday in Dublin. So
there's a massive kind of aviation conference. Okay, yeah, fucking Dara. Oh yeah, massive aviation.
I actually go to Leinster games, unlike you. Okay,
so I go to Leinster games. Excuse me.
Only when you have a
how's there 747 there, love? Yeah, I have a bigger one.
Danny.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm not allowed to fly for 3 months, so I won't be going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, all right. Thanks for that. James Grennan, our colleague James Grennan. Happy birthday, Dara. Thank you for the shout out. There you are now. Excellent. Well done. Okay, so to finish. Sorry, go on, Matt. Sorry. What?
Your jokes are still shy, James.
Yeah, they are so short, James. Yes, absolutely, yes. And Claire Devaney, we wish you well in your effort to stop your coughing. Just give up the fags, will you? Okay, gentlemen, Danny Brosnan, I'd like to get your opinion on this. And I'm going to just back it up with something that an article that Mike Pierce wrote for Ruck This about the state of this. But Danny, the Ospreys mess, that's going to, now, albeit Ospreys are not going to be leaving the URC or the Welsh setup until 2027, but that's got to have an impact on the Welsh national squad for this.
Have they actually said that it's Osprey going?
Yes.
They
So
have
Danny,
confirmed.
as I was asking Danny, sorry, Dara, as I was asking Danny, your question. I'll come to you now, Dara, in a minute. Danny, go on. Your thoughts on Ospreys leaving or being apparently, I should say, Dara.
See, that's what I was saying.
Apparently,
They haven't
okay.
confirmed it.
Oh, right. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ! I'll get through the show eventually. Danny, the Ospreys mess. Is that going to affect? Danny, you have a stroke. The Ospreys
Oh,
mess.
Dave, what type of stroke?
All right. Yeah. Two women on the bench. Fella ran past. One had a stroke. The other couldn't reach. Danny, your thoughts on the Ospreys thing? That's bound to play into the mindset of the Welsh rugby team coming to this Six Nations. What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be coming into the Six Nations, but I'd say it'll be in the back of our mind. But we know that the WRU were in financial crisis for a while. There was talks of one of the franchises being cut. It's unfortunate that it is Ospreys, but I suppose it did have to happen at some stage until they get their stuff together. But it's going to be problematic for Wales because they'd have less franchises in the URC. That means they'd have less options for players to come through. That means they're going to have to find a way to keep their best players there, and the three franchises financially viable. But it's going to be a huge problem for everyone involved somewhere or another, whether it's backroom staff or players. The only other option I'd say is that the WRU leave a lot of those players go, but keep them give them certain exemptions that they can still come back and play for the Welsh side if they want to. But I think it's just highly unfortunate that a lot of the backroom people will be out of a job come 2027, even coaching staff and various other people. So I do kind of wish them the best that way. But we knew it was going to happen. It really wasn't a question of if, it was just a question of when. But part of me kind of hopes that it does sort itself out and they do find some sort of financial situation that can benefit them. But no, I think it's a bad sign of times for Wales in general and whichever franchise does get caught, if it is the Ospreys. But it's a mess of their own making, of the WRU's making, and they should have had more foresight coming into that. So
yes, very true. Yeah, no, very true, Danny. Good point made. Mike Reedy, this the alleged dropping of Ospreys in 2027, that has to play into the Welsh players' mindset.
I think well, especially any Ospreys players, I think that are going into the Welsh squad, that there's obviously going to be in the back of their mind. But I think it's tragedy for Welsh rugby, to see anything like this having to happen. But it's been on the cards and it's been spoken about at length for a good while now, and it's just a terrible shame that it has to happen. It's going to have a negative effect on Welsh rugby. It can't have a positive effect. I don't see how it can be in any shape or form positive. I mean, is it going to make the other three teams stronger? Don't see how it will, unless they share out the players, that the Ospreys players, which won't happen either because they can't afford to keep the ones they've got. It's a real tragic situation, lads, and the writing's on the wall. By the way, like Danny said, the Welsh Rugby Union, this has been caused by their mismanagement over the last number of years. in all aspects of Welsh rugby. They've allowed things to get out of hand, and they haven't grabbed the bull, but they haven't grasped the situation and helped it at all. It's very, very sad, really, and I just hope they're able to get something under wraps, and something can come out of this. But I can't see any positive outcome at all. And even for the Wales team, I think this will have a massive effect on them.
All right.
Okay. That's come here by Nine Steins you might want to bring up.
Yeah, all right, Danny. I'll do this show every Thursday. You know what I mean? I can look after it. Would you just cool
Shut up, you biatches.
Matt Boland. As I've asked Danny and Mike, the Ospreys thing, it can't be good for the Welsh senior team's psyche heading into a Six Nations.
Look, it's a dark time for Welsh rugby, and unfortunately, the writing was on the wall for a long time. But I'm not going to say much more than what all the other lads have said. It's down to the WRU to manage it properly, and they didn't. And this is the result. We saw it here before. Connacht was nearly disbanded, but then whatever happened, something changed. It didn't happen. So the warning signs were there for the WRU. They didn't react in time. Now it's gone to shite, and they have to get rid of one of them. And it's just about how they manage it now going forward, because the mindset will be bad for Wales going into the Six Nations, because there's a lot of guys there now that won't know what they're going to be doing. I know they've this season to get through, and it's coming in 2027. They won't be there in 2027, but it's a lot of stress and heartache for them, because they're now, they're potentially looking at not having a job to go to, and I suppose is it a case that they let them play abroad in foreign clubs and they still have eligibility to play for Wales? If that was the case, that's probably something that might be okay. But again, look, it was just badly managed. The WRU have only themselves to blame. They should have reacted when they could have. Time ages ago. Do you know what I mean? But they didn't, and this is the result. You got to feel for the players that are they're all out of jobs. It's
absolutely. I totally agree. Yes, Dara. Before I ask you, thanks, Matt. Points well made. Bev Anne-Marie, any Ospreys players in the Welsh squad would be worried about their jobs, and it's not guaranteed that they will get another contract at all. Sometimes it happens. Danny, seriously, where no one wants them and then force them into early retirement. I shouldn't have given. It's like, the nuclear codes, yeah, granddad. Danny, don't be pressing any buttons.
You can't have two hosts in the same show.
Don't press the red.
Niall Steins. Niall, how are you? Niall has the Ospreys logo there, I think. It is on his profile there. Yeah. I don't get why between the Dragons, Scarlets, Cardiff and Ospreys, they picked the Ospreys. Do they not see the Dragons sitting there? Mike Sheedy, what is Mike talking about? Red cards and yellow cards. You're all lads tonight. Ye like the government. I
blame the Taoiseach and the Taoiseach. Having the two of them on the same show, Mike, leads to a shambles. Right.
No. Okay, Dara. Yeah. Now, okay. You were kind of implying that Ospreys was not going to be the team.
Now, let me tell you a story here. So, Niall was saying about the Devils in the research and all that. If you actually looked at the WRU press statement that came out the end of last year, the devil is in the detail. There's 3 licenses for professional clubs. 1 in the capital, so Cardiff is safe. 1 in East Wales, so Dragons are safe. 1 in West Wales, so it means Ospreys and Scarlets. Both of them are on the chopping board. The WRU have suggested that they will either pick one team or that the 2 teams could amalgamate into one team. So it's not a done deal about the Ospreys. It's Ospreys or Scarlets. So, Ospreys could still be there and the Scarlets go. But basically what they've done is they've said they've made it into 3 geographical areas. The Dragons are in East Wales. They're safe. Cardiff is safe because it's the capital and they have to have a rugby team playing beside the Millennium Stadium. And then West Wales, there's going to be one other rugby team. And they've given them, I think, about 6 million to start with sterling, and it goes up. But that's basically, they said, this is how much cash we have. We can afford 3 teams. This is how much you're getting. So potentially you have Ospreys and Scarlets players going in to the squads.
The scar
Not
sprays.
knowing- Scar sprays. There you go. Yeah. The other thing, what Matt was saying, it doesn't make sense. I totally agree with Matt. It doesn't make sense for the WRU to not allow players play abroad. I mean, look at for years, Rob Howley was playing in, wasn't it Wasps? Was it Wasps he was playing with? Yeah, Wasps. And he was still playing for Wales. So they have a tradition of having players playing in the Premiership, things like that. So they should be letting players play in the Premiership, play in France. Okay, if they play in France, you risk what we've talked about many
Dara,
times.
all the WRU are copying there is the RFU, because the English rugby RFU said if you play abroad, like Jack Willis, prime example, rumour that he's coming to Munster playing for Ireland, which I cannot see happening. But all they did was copy the RFU's method of doing it. But Wales, as you say, Dara, I'm agreeing with you actually in a roundabout way.
Yeah,
Wales can't afford to do
wrong
that.
method. They copied the wrong method. I mean,
Exactly.
their thing was always, have some of their players playing in other leagues. I mean, okay, the French league kind of makes sense, because if you're a foreign player, if you're not a French player and you're in France, you're gonna just be abused by
You're flogged to death.
in terms. Yeah, exactly. They'll get 90 minutes out of you in an 80-minute game, and basically they'll play you 52 weeks of the year if they can get away with it, because they have to preserve some of their French stars. So, because of pressure from the rugby union in France, the federation, I should say, not union. But yeah, so it's not definitely the Ospreys. It's the Ospreys or Scarlets. So that's what they said in the press release. There'd be one for East, one for Central, one for West Wales. And then they said, look, if it doesn't get sorted, they might put it out to a tendering process, in which case anybody could go. But basically, I think the one team that's safe is Cardiff, because obviously the capital city, like for a country like Wales, not to have a rugby team in its capital city, it'd be crazy. So there you go. Hope you learned something from that.
I did. Now, let me see. James Grennan, our colleague, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies listening to the discussion about Ospreys. Reminds me of the March by Connacht to save our province. We may have to march on Cardiff. Yeah, well, you can do that in your own time. I won't be doing that. Simply because it's inconvenient. That's all. Johan, thoughts on Munster being linked to Julian Sevilla? Johan, John Malone. Yes, those thoughts will stay there. I don't know, John. I can't say. I don't know. Anyone else?
Well, what's happening is, I think we're just picking a random Sevilla. Last week it was Ardy. This week it's Julian. Next week it'll be. It depends how many siblings there are and cousins and all that. But they just basically pick one and associate them with a random province or another club.
Is there a Dave? Is there a Dave Sevilla?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
I'd love
Enoch
to see it,
as
Dave.
well. I think there's an Enoch in the family, same as yourself.
Love it. Okay, right. Okay, Matt Boland. Moving on. Thank you, gents, for that. Good points made. Matt, moving on. This was one question or subject matter I was going to bring up with Luke. That the refs on the pitch, that they seem to be coaching players. And what I mean by that is, and we've all heard it, we've all seen it, we see it every week, where a ref would say, no, not you, you're offside, get out, he's in before you, back off, you're offside, back out from that, don't touch that ball, play it, all that sort of stuff. Which all appear. Now, this all came about, by the way, I'll pretense this all came about by an article written on, we'll go there in a minute. But this all came about by an article that was written, I saw, on Planet Rugby about why are the referees coaching players on the pitch when they are blatantly offside, blatantly illegal in a ruck, blatantly off their feet, blatantly doing all this sort of stuff. So why? So the question is, Matt and everyone, why doesn't the ref just go, you're illegal, penalty? Why did they just let it? Why do they let it go on?
Look, I think there's a couple of sides you can look at this, and I think the reason that the referees are warning players is because they want the game to flow. They don't want to be stopping and starting the game constantly. So, i.e., when a player is at a ruck or a maul and he's creeping up, he's telling them to get back because he's going to be offside. Whereas if he just tells him to get back, the game can continue. Otherwise, he has to give a penalty. Now, I think the referees are they're not really coaching them. They're just telling them, get back or I'm going to penalise you. And that's fine. They want the game to flow. We're always constantly giving out about scrum times and TMO decisions taking too long and stopping on the clock and all this sort of bullshit. And that's why they're doing that. They want the game to flow better. And that's the reason why referees do that. Now, in certain circumstances, i.e. when a player is kicking and there's 10 seconds on the clock, the referee shouldn't be going, there's 10 seconds on the clock. Because
the clock should be there in front of the fucking player.
The clock is there. The clock is absolutely there. But the referee shouldn't say to him, you have 10 seconds left. The referee should just fucking say nothing. Clock hits 0, blow the whistle and go, time's up. End of story. So there are certain times where a referee should get involved. There are certain times he shouldn't.
Okay, Matt. Brilliant. Okay. 100%. Now, what happens then if, in that particular situation that you've described, Matt, where a ref says to a player at a ruck or a breakdown, however, or whatever, you're offside, back. If he's offside, should the ref not just go blow the whistle and
no? Because he's telling him before he's offside. He's telling
but we've all heard. Hold on, Matt. We've all heard refs going, "You're offside.
Get back.
Move back."
Yeah, because he hasn't actually interfered.
To Matt answering the first part of your question.
Yeah, he hasn't interfered with the ball. He hasn't interfered with the play going on. So, i.e., the referee has seen this and he wants the game to go on.
Brilliant.
He's having a fucking stroke.
But Matt made an excellent point, Peter. I mean, let me just explain.
Go on.
Synthesis of what I think Matt was saying, and I totally agree with it. If you want to sit in the Aviva for 4 hours watching an 80-minute rugby game of Leinster against La Rochelle, fair play to you. You freeze your bollocks off like I did a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, I did.
So what the refs do is they give warnings. And if there's repeated warnings, then they go, right, I'm giving a penalty against you lads because I've given you 5 or 6 warnings. So that's why they have to give these audible warnings saying that a player is offside, etc. Because then the captain can't go, but hold on, you never told us we were making repeated infringements and you were going to give a penalty. I did, listen back. I kept saying to you, you're offside, move back. And then the other thing with the kicking clock is I've looked at it and the times when the big screen is not easily in line of sight of the kicker, because obviously the kicker is going to be focused on the posts and trying to line himself up and all that. The big screen may be way off in the corner or something like that, or there mightn't be a big screen at that end. Then the ref will normally remind the player when there's 10 seconds to go.
Okay. There seems to be a bit of job is not to do sorry, Dara. There seems to be hold on 1 sec, Matt. I'll let you come out just 1 sec. There's comments coming in. I just wanted to address them. It just seems this point seems to have exercised a few people. Bev and Marie, Matt, keep your point in your head. It annoys me at rucks when the ref is like, use it, but the players still take 10 years to use it. Surely there should be a time limit. Well, apparently there is a time limit, Bev, on that.
Seconds.
Kieran Ryan, the game can be stopped. Hi, Kieran. The games can be stop start enough. Telling players to get out or move lets the game flow. That's the point Matt and Dara were making. Yes, absolutely. Shirley Thornton, hi Shirley. Good question. Some games it will definitely appear to be coaching and not the flow of the game. Okay, and last one, Matt. I hope you've remembered your point. John Maloney, Jack Willis would be a great addition to Munster team and a replacement for Palm. Yeah, he would be. And so would plenty of others, John. But I can't see it happen. Sorry, Matt. Go on.
Yeah, but just like jumping on to what Dara was saying, like. It is about the flow of the game. And like the referee he's not really coaching. He's just telling them, if you keep going, you're going to be in an offside and I'm going to have to give the penalty. And that's more the reason. Essentially, it's just making the game flow because as Dara pointed out, we don't want to be in a situation where the game could take fucking 3 days to continue and it could end up in a draw at the end of the fucking 3 days. Simple as.
All right. Okay. Now you do realise I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Of course,
for a
it is,
chat.
because you're big.
Mike Reedy. Exactly. Mike Reedy, your thoughts on this? What I've asked Matt and Dara, and has been discussed, and in the comments, that the phrase used in the article was, "Why is the ref coaching the players on the park?" What do you
I
think?
don't ref is necessarily coaching the players on the park. I agree with the lads. He's trying to keep the fucking game flowing. There's enough stops, and some of them unnecessarily. And one of my biggest bugbears is resetting fucking scrums.
Oh,
The decision there and then, penalty, fucking end of. Speed the game up. If you want to take out stupid involvement in the game and the TMO sticking his fucking nose in when he shouldn't be, I think the referee has a difficult enough job to do. He's probably trying to help himself by not having to give a decision later on by just saying, "Listen, get out of fucking way, mate, or it's going to be a penalty." So I think we have to stop telling referees how to referee the game. Or personally myself, that's what I think. I don't know.
you have to stop picking your nose live on screen, Mike. All right.
I'm fucking scratching my nose. I've got an itch because
No, you're not. You're picking your nose. I can see it.
I'm certainly I'm not. I do pick my nose, but I'm
Yeah,
not.
the viewers don't need to see that, Mike. And then you're leaning to one side, letting a 5-octave ripper go, and you're going, "Oh, geez, smell that in Diverland or Glasgow."
Says the man who basically lay back in his chair and went, "Oh, good Jesus."
Yeah, because I didn't agree with the point you were making, but I could understand the point you were making, but I didn't agree with it. Danny Brosnan waiting patiently there. Your thoughts on all this? Now, Danny, the phrase used in the article, I think it was Planet Rugby, was, "Why are the refs coaching the players on the pitch?"
Well, I won't call it coaching the players, and like a lot of lads were saying, it's basically trying to get a game flow, because like if they're stopping for every penalty, fans are going to turn around and say, "Why isn't the game flowing? Why isn't the game going?" And everything else. Another thing is, this isn't American football where we're kind of saying, "Okay, penalty, let's have a 30-second break." You know, every ruck. The people want to be doing that every 30 seconds. Penalty, 30-second break, set up. Next thing comes up, penalty, 30-second break. Where's going the flow coming in that game then? Why? Of course, they're going to be saying, "Move away, step back, you're offside, don't come in, you're over the line." They want the game to flow, they want the momentum to keep going, but they don't want to be given the penalty, so they're giving them the warning that way. They're not coaching them, they're just giving them a warning. Now, I might be coaching to them, but that's fucking stupid. So, to be honest with you, if you want to print stuff like that, fair enough, but, you know, realise the consequences of what you're printing first. Basically, it sounds like it was written by some Yank or someone that seems to love American football more than he does rugby.
There goes the global diplomacy of our conversation here. Yes, thank you very much.
You get a better quality article on rubthis.ie.
Oh, now I said we would reference the Carl Dixon episode, which again I really want. Sorry, go on there.
Just to interrupt, if you look at Bev Anne Marie, she's a great comment there that reinforces, I think, the thing about shot clocks. So she's saying in the Bohermore end, there's the big screen in line with the post, but at the College Road end, in the Connacht home ground, it doesn't have a big screen. So the kicker would have to be turning around to check what time he had left.
Yeah.
Good spot, Darryl. Good spot. I missed that. Thank you.
But in that circumstance, then it should be communication between the kicker and the ref. The kicker should be going, "Right, I can't see the clock. Can you just give me a 10-second warning?" Or something like that. Something to that. Because you don't want, what you don't want is the player sitting the ball down and having to turn around 180 degrees to see the clock behind him, which is totally fair. But if it's a case where you're in a fully enclosed stadium and there might be 4 screens in each corner, there should be no problem for a kicker to see it. So it should
I would imagine that the kicker can talk to the ref before the match and say, "Listen, will you just give me the nod when there's 10 seconds to go?"
Of course.
That's what I mean.
When they're playing that direction in the second half or whatever.
Yeah, there should be that communication between the kicker and the referee, and that should be
sorted out. Bev Anne Marie is anticipating our next point. She says, "I don't agree with the ref pulling the shirt and dragging them back on side. like that thing that's been going around all week. Okay, Bev, thank you very much. You've given me a good intro into my next point. Our next point. Mike Reedy, I'm going to ask you first. I haven't asked you for. Actually, no. I'll tell you what, Mike. No, I'm going to leave you second. Danny,
Yeah.
I want your opinion on this. Carl Dixon and his display against the Bulls versus Pow. Owen Doyle, the former referee, writing in the Irish Times, and I quote, all about this incident about Dixon pulling the jersey of the player Van der Merwe when he was in a ruck or a maul or whatever it was. He said, quote, referee Carl Dixon told the ball carrier Akker Van der Merwe to use it. So far, so good. Next, an instruction came from the referee as he shouted breakaway to the hooker while tapping the player twice before pulling on the player's jersey as a further reminder to get out of there. You might need to read that again. It was quite incredible and completely unacceptable. Danny, I didn't see it live. I saw replays of it. All right.
To be honest with you, that was just blatant. And there's a fine line you don't cross, and he crossed well and truly over that line. Basically pulling the jersey, basically telling him this is the way you're going. He should have just kind of blew it and said, "Twistle, you did." Mauls stopped. It wasn't going forward. Penalty to the opposition. There you go. And he said, if I said, Mauls stopped, use it. Use it. It doesn't matter if he goes passes backwards, go left, go right.
Yeah.
He does what he has to do. But that was just blatantly kind of taking their side. Now, that's stepping over the mark too much, where if you just said, use it, counts to 5, blew the whistle, Mauls stopped, didn't use it, penalty to the opposite.
Yeah, and then blow it up. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But that's too much. That was just fucking idiotic. He might have just throw on the Bulls jersey. To be honest with you, in that situation.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're not wearing one. Mike Reedy, your thoughts on that?
I'm just laughing there about the wearing of a jersey. We won't say any more about that. Anyway, Carl Dixon was fucking way fucking beyond jurisdiction. What he done is
But Mike, sorry, Mike, sorry to interrupt. Sorry, my apologies. But the reason I wanted to interrupt you was that I was looking at the. I know this is just me. The laws of rugby and the referees' responsibilities. The referees and vice versa with the players, they cannot touch each other's jerseys or each other in general.
Absolutely.
Like, really. So sorry, go on, Mike. Yeah.
He completely stepped over the line. I mean, it's the same as a player touching the referee and dragging his jersey. It's unacceptable, and it's also unacceptable for a referee to do it. He should not. I mean, he should be reprimanded, but without a shadow of a doubt, he should be reprimanded for that. It's totally unacceptable what he did. I don't know. Referees sometimes make the job difficult by doing stupid things, and that was a really stupid thing. So I don't know if anything will come of it, if there is any kind of board that's done it or whatever, but there should be definitely.
But no, this is the thing, Mike. This, if you remember, Mike, we had and everyone, we had this. This point came up a good while ago, in that where, and it was shot down. I can understand why it was shot down. Where referees should give a press conference after the game as well, and it was shot down with good reason. I can understand why. But what you're saying, Mike, go on, Mike. I'll let you go.
Well, I mean, if he was to give a press conference after that game, what kind of reaction would he have got? I genuinely think he should be reprimanded. Like he's refereeing 2 of Ireland's games in the Six Nations. That concerns me, by the way. I'm not joking. That concerns me a lot. I don't like him anyway.
That's because he gave a mystery penalty at the end of the match.
Mike doesn't like him. Is he a South African or something? Or, I don't know.
Matt Boland. He gave the penalty against Munster to Toulon.
All right, okay.
That's not.
I know. I know. Yeah, all right. Matt Boland, your thoughts on that whole fiasco with Dixon and he's pulling the jersey? I didn't see it live, as I said. But go on.
Being perfectly honest, right? It's not a good look at all for referees. And from the point of view of him telling the player to use the ball, to tapping him on the shoulder, to then pulling the fucking jersey to tell him to go, how many warnings do you need to give a player to use the ball? He should have been just penalised, right? We saw this in a very crucial game, Australia versus fucking New Zealand in the Bledisloe Cup, where fucking Nick White didn't play the ball after 10 seconds or something, and he switched it around, right? That's exactly what should have happened there. And if you look at that incident again where he pulled the jersey, it looked like he was pulling the jersey to say, there's a fucking free run to the line here, pal. If you go now, you're going to score a try, which is what happened. And that is a very bad look for refs. You know,
it is.
They should not be interfering in a game or any sort of decision that could change the course of a match or change the way whoever's going to win or whoever's going to lose. Because at the end of the day, his job is to referee. He's told him once, use the ball. You tell him twice, and then you penalise him. That's it. You don't tell him, fucking tap him twice, and then pull his jersey, tell him to go. I think it's a very bad look. And unfortunately, I think nothing probably will come of it, but I don't think we'll ever see that again because something will go on behind the background to go, you shouldn't have done that.
That's why I so wanted Luke on tonight. Jeez, that was annoying me. Dara Weston, thanks, Matt. Dara Weston, your thoughts on that? I thought it was a mad look.
Let me play devil's advocate here for a moment. It's not a good look to the ref. I didn't see the match, okay, but maybe there was, having actually been a forward and being in mauls and rucks and scrums and stuff. You can't hear an awful lot of somebody behind you shouting. If it was the referee may have had instances where he blew up or he made calls and the players didn't hear because of the stadium noise or something like that. So he may have felt it was warranted to kind of tap the player or something. But like one tap is enough to kind of go, whatever, you know. So I'm just playing devil's advocate on possibly why he might have gone there. But certainly it was not a good look because essentially it decided the fate of the match. And he had come out, and then he had the previous week, he had given a late kind of mysterious penalty to Toulon, which gave them the match as well. I mean, he's had a bad 2 weeks of it. But look, I mean, referees are human. As I say, you know, he may have had instances where he was blowing up or stuff and play was continuing because the players couldn't hear him. I don't know. I didn't see the match. So
I don't know. I didn't either. I saw a replay on YouTube or someone.
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, like it'd depend on if for the previous 10 minutes he'd been blowing his whistle, nobody fucking listening, then he may have felt it was needed to tap and go, get it, you know.
Yeah. All right. I take the point you're making, Darry. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Shirley. Okay. Before we go on to our next point, Shirley Thornton. What occurs with some refs? Excuse me, is they don't penalise and just keep warning again and again. Yes, very true, Shirley. Niall Signs, again, in Chicago, Ireland versus All Blacks match, the ref was off. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, at the pitch looking at the laptop for 20 minutes, even though the stadium had plenty of screens. Yeah, I remember that, Niall. I couldn't quite get my head around that.
That was because the TV director wouldn't put the angle up on the big screen.
Yeah,
and he was asking, you could hear him asking, I need that angle put up. And the TMO was like, I'll try it. And they couldn't get the US TV directors were like, no, we're showing Budweiser ads. So you have to run over the laptop to see it.
Just another point on that whole referee thing there, right?
Go on.
I think it should be a case where the referee speaks to both captains before the game. When they do the toss-up and they explain what they're looking for, he should make it very clear to the teams at that point, right? If he thinks there's going to be some sort of issue or anything like that, he should say, right, well, I'm going to tell you have to use the ball within 5 seconds. I will remind you of that when the 5 seconds is up, and if you don't, I'm going to give a penalty. And he should just make his intentions clear at the start, because then it'll just alleviate all this sort of did he or didn't he fucking do it right or after the game, if you get me. But again, that should be up to the referees to do. I don't know.
Standard practice though before every game.
I mean, the refs always do that. They always meet with the
That's
captains
standard
before
practice.
games. I remember, even going back to school and club, like refs coming into the changing rooms before a big match.
Yeah.
Not that we played in so many big
We've all been
matches.
there.
But
We've all been there. But is
So-
it the case they're enforcing it to say, okay, like they might do a few bits and pieces, but are they saying, like, when I warn you once to use the ball in a position, I won't warn you again? Like, is it a case that they're just not following through, or they're not doing it? Something has to.
Well,
like,
Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
go on,
it could
go on
be
then.
the case that he kind of said that, and then he didn't know what the stadium noise was going to be like, whatever. And
That's a. I think
you're in a
that's
stadium.
bit of
You know what the
hold on,
noise
hold on.
Listen, Peter, there's always two sides. None of us.
I
were
know,
ever-
I know there is. Danny Brosnan,
let's-
your thoughts on
it's
this. All
easy
right,
for
hold
us
on.
to slag
Okay,
off
there's
refs.
more than the three of us on the show. Danny Brosnan, go on.
No, okay.
What
have to
were we
be
talking
fair.
about again?
I haven't a clue. I've forgotten.
Danny's fell asleep.
Yeah, so have I actually.
It just reminded me of the Will Skelton thing. Do you remember he said when he was playing the Lions and he was acting the bollocks around fucking Mauls and Rooks and stuff, and the referee was warning him. I think it was Andrea Piardi or whoever it was, and he turned around and said, "I can't hear with the noise. It's bollocks. It is."
All right. Danny, sorry, yes, that's it. Sorry, Matt, you reminded me. Danny, Dixon pulling the jersey of the player out of the ruck, and did I ask you?
I give you my opinion of this already. You came to me first.
Pardon me, Danny.
He's had sleep since that.
But come here. Sorry, go on, Mike. Mike, did I ask you?
You asked me as well.
Yeah.
You always
go around
chat
again?
and you're confusing me.
If you have a
Actually,
look
now
up.
hold on. Talking about referees now. Hold on, Matt. You might laugh. Dara, you might laugh. Now, let me just. This was another thing I had set up for Luke. World Rugby, the laws of rugby, right? And this is law 9.20a.
Would you not
The
keep
first
this till
line
the
of the
next
law.
one?
Hold on. No, hold on, Dara. Hold on. One second. I still have my grumpy hat on. 1 second. The law says that the first line of the law is, this is a law in World Rugby, right? A player must not charge into a ruck or maul. Probably the most blatantly abused law in World Rugby.
No,
What
straight
do you
put
think?
straight put into the scrum is the most abused law.
Yeah.
Well, okay, it's the second one then.
Is there such a thing as a straight put into a scrum?
No, there's not.
No, there
When's
isn't,
the
but
last
it's
time you
still-
said-
it's
when was
still
the
a
last
law,
time you- Do you know what I mean? Danny, Matt, any thought? Like, the law clearly states a player must not charge into a ruck or maul. Charging includes any contact made without binding onto another player in the ruck or maul. Law 9.20b, a player must not make contact with an opponent above the line of the shoulder.
Yeah, but
That
there
is
is
probably
without binding. If you win without binding, if you do what, like for instance, James Ryan did in the whenever that game was.
Oh,
you know,
the shoulder, yeah.
launch yourself over the fucking top. You're giving the referee a decision to make then, and he's going to make one not in your favor.
Yeah.
You're giving him a
Danny,
decision.
your thoughts on that, Danny?
Basically, my interpretation of that is, if you're going in and you're binding, you have to do so in a kind of a controlled manner. Like Mike was saying there about James Ryan going in there, literally throwing yourself on top where you could, you're trying to give the inch players is one thing. Going in there and you're avoiding head contact and moving players. Like, you might as well just turn it into rugby league if you're trying to say you can't go in recklessly. What's the level of reckless? How would you describe your reckless contact? Like, I go in there with throwing both legs in there, going in there with a diving headbutt, what?
Doing a James Ryan.
Danny, Peter was a back. Everything about scrums, rucks, mauls is reckless. You mess your hair up and stuff like that. Like,
Mike Sheedy, the ref should be fired. He don't know the laws of rugby, and he has done this a few games before this. He has, Mike.
Peter,
yeah, you're right.
Peter,
John Maloney says,
"Is
this the dumb and dumber of rugby fans?" I don't know what show you're looking at, John, but we're talking about facts and figures here.
Peter, none of us have ever had the balls to pick up a whistle and actually ref a rugby game. So it's really easy for us to criticize a referee. We can go online when we're preparing stuff and we can look up laws, but they're actually in the heat of the moment. They have to do it. So I think, look, yes, referees are human and they have bad days. You know, we all do. Everybody does their job badly.
We all do. But
Yeah.
look, I made the point about Crowley and Sam Prendergast. I agree with you that we all have off days. We're all paid to do a job, and we all have off
Neither of
days.
them are referees. Okay.
No, I know that, but the point I'm making was that we're paid to do a job, but we have off days.
You're a shitstorm.
Okay.
I'm as bad, Mike, so I take no offense to that. Now, briefly, lads, before we go on to our last games coming up this weekend, I just wanted to briefly ask you. I heard a discussion on News Talk earlier on about fake sports merchandise and how parents are circumnavigating I must get my little Joey or my little Susan the latest jersey of the team that she wants. There was a great conversation about it. I could see the pros for this. I could see the cons for this. Matt Boland, fake merch. I know I can see the whole. I can see the whole entire argument. But is there? God, should there be no fake merch? Should there be fake merch? Should there be a choice? Should the clubs just go, well, look, it's going to happen anyway, so we've no power over it? Or what do you think, Matt?
It's going to happen regardless. Like, I mean, no matter where you go, you get replicas of everything. Like,
I know, but
you go online, you can get a replica of Anthem. Do you know what I mean? So you're never going to alleviate it. It's just a case of if clubs, like, there's going to be people that want the authentic stuff, and they'll go out and buy the authentic stuff. Now, you got to remember, families, if they have 4 or 5 kids or whatever, and parents are looking to buy gear as well, it's a lot of money. So,
yes,
you know, you wouldn't blame them going down the route of getting cheaper brands or cheaper replicas of stuff. It'd be up to if the clubs don't want people buying fake merchandise, they should make an alternative, official, cheaper version of it. Then, you know, to deter them from buying fake stuff. But you're never going to get rid of fake merchandise ever.
Right. Okay. Now, I'll tell you what, Matt and everyone else, where the subject matter was about the FAI roundy ball folks. I know, raising the price of their official jersey, and some fella came on, and fair play to him, and he's right, and it's the same for rugby jerseys, same for all of us. If you've got 2 or 3 kids who want their new jerseys, he said, you're talking, I believe the FAI jersey is 130 quid, right, per jersey, right? You have 2 or 3 lads, girls, daughters, whatever, and they want the new jersey, and then they want to go to the game, and then they want to get and we've said this before about the Aviva, and they want to get their drinks and their cokes, or the dad wants to get a beer, and then you want to get food. That's a lot of money for a day out. Dara, do you see the benefit or the draw of fake merchandise that draws families, parents, to get them on DHgate and all that?
There's pros and cons. The pros are
I know that. Yeah.
You're probably getting better quality than the original Castor jersey for the Rugby Dog or for the Leinster jersey.
That would be hard.
The cons are you're basically picking the pocket of Leinster or the FAI or whatever. I mean, Mike, you'll remember this. Back when we were growing up, you know, I don't know if you had any older brothers. I had 2 older brothers. So if I ever wanted a jersey, it came through.
Get their cast-offs.
I ended up. So I'd have like the club jersey from like 3 sponsors ago or something like that, you know. But yeah, look, I mean, unfortunately, it's become that easy. Sorry, Danny, were you interrupting your conversation there? Unfortunately, it's just become the way everything is being, you know, copyrighted. It used to be a Chinese mate of mine. He used to say, in China, we take copyright very seriously. When we copy something, we copy it right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And look, you know, there's big money in it. So I mean, obviously, and you know, there's websites that sell retro jerseys and stuff like that. Like, you could probably get somebody in the Far East to make you Canterbury, Leinster, ACC Bank, or ESAT Digifone jerseys from the 90s if you wanted. And you probably have people going mad for them and looking for them. So look, as I say,
let me just write that down. Hold on, just write that down.
Larry, you know there's a massive market out there for retro jerseys. There is.
There is.
Oh, exactly.
There is.
Definitely.
Massive.
Yeah.
Have you a name of that company there that does that?
No, I don't.
He's going to start flogging them on FU cards now.
I just gave it as an example.
No. Okay, folks.
I'll Google it for you. Don't break a sweat there. I'll Google it for you.
Yeah, I'll talk to you later about this. Yeah.
Here's the crux. You talk about retro jerseys. You talk about replica jerseys. You talk about, they're all made in the same fucking factory, lads. The ones that the club are selling to you are made in the same factory as the ones that are being sold out the back door. And it's as simple as fucking that. And clubs either need to sell them at a reasonably affordable price, or they're going to suffer the consequences. And the consequences are that a person can get the same jersey from fucking China. They're all made in China. Every jersey is made in China, and they're made in. It's just a simple fact of economics. And like Matt said there, if you have fucking 3 kids going to a game, and you yourself, Peter, as well, you know, and you have to buy tickets, you buy them a shirt each, it's costing you £1,000 fucking pounds for just for one game as a family. So you can buy a retro shirt or a fucking fake shirt, as you like to call it. It's the very same shirt. Basically, might have a little badge missing somewhere along there that officiates it. But the realism is people buy what they can afford. If everybody could afford to buy the real deal, that's what they would buy.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Mike. Now, I have a couple of comments that I want to just highlight, and then we're going to go on to the games coming up this weekend.
Thanks for asking me, Peter.
No, I've no interest. We're overtime. Okay. Now, Bevan went into Intersport Ellery's earlier, and it was 58 quid for a kid's jersey and 90 for adults. Absolutely ridiculous. If kids wanted a full kit, would cost over 100 quid for it now. Imagine having 4 kids. That's 400 quid. Might as well get replicas for half the price. Giorgio, how are you? Hello, lads. What do you think about the rugby future? New 12 nations tournament were made boring the sport of a few years because T2 countries don't have any chance to play matches against T1 countries. Yeah, Danny, you're into all this now more so than I am. The T1, T2 countries there, what Giorgio said. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, Danny, you like rugby. You answer it.
No, he's into all this stuff.
Georgia has a point, because Joe, there's times where Joe we might be facing it's like Samoa, Fiji. Even last summer, Joe, we had Georgia, we had Portugal. I know it was last year and we had weaker teams out, but it was still good promotion for them to get Joe a tier 1 team to play against them. So in a way, I think it's bad for this whole tier 1 only and tier 2 only competitions, and then having to wait for a World Cup to come up every 4 years before you can get that proper mix of tier 1 versus tier 2. By right, it should be done in such a way that, let's say, you get 1 year tier 1, then you kind of mix it up where, let's say, from the first year, let's say tier 1, let's say you might get, let's say, the top from tier 1 versus top from tier 2. The summer series kind of cycles around where the top 4 meet each other, the bottom 4 meet each other, you get 4 random opponents. That gives them a year to kind of build finances. It gives the tier 1 teams a chance to chance out new players and younger players as well. Saying that we have to send out the best players all the time, but it gives them a chance to develop and see some of the big names possibly. But I think it's have to wait maybe every 4 years, or unless there's some special competition. Outside of that, it's a bit stupid in a way.
But Danny, they're fiddling the rankings for the T12 competition, because Georgia were above Wales, and I suspect Georgie. Apologies if I'm wrong, Georgie, but it looks like a Georgian name to me.
Yeah,
Georgia were above Wales in rankings, yet they didn't get into the 12 nations.
Yeah, but
they were conveniently left out.
Yeah, but I say they're trying to give tier 1 teams priority as well. Now, Peter, in reference to your situation about the jerseys, I'd say this much so, and I was in Lifestyle Sports there recently.
There's a sale on. There's a sale on.
I know. And it's on Intersports as well, I think, with some stuff. The rest of might be, I haven't checked. But I was in there and I've checked out some of the Munster jerseys and stuff that they have for this season. And I know I'm going to get crucified for saying this, but some of the Manchester United
GA jerseys.
Hold on.
No.
Go on.
No, there's Manchester United gear there as well. Now, Munster and Manchester United, both of their stuff is made by Adidas, right? The difference in quality between the two of them was something else. Munster, all the Munster gear, all the stuff is heat treated on. I went over, got the jerseys, heat treated shite. I went over to the United jersey just for comparison, since they're both Adidas made stuff. The United stuff was all stitched. It wasn't heat treated on, stitched. Why is there a difference in quality?
Because there's far more money. There's far more people buying soccer jerseys, Danny, than there are buying rugby jerseys.
Were they the same price, Danny?
Actually,
I didn't check prices. I don't check prices.
Football jerseys are normally more expensive.
Yeah.
They are actually. Yeah. That's
go on, Danny. As Ben was saying there, she paid what was it €90 for an adult's jersey, right? And to be honest, if you spend the £90, you don't want some heat treated fucking shite.
That's
you
true.
want some
That's true.
you want some quality. You want to pay €90 of quality, not €90 for pile of shite.
You want an embroidered crest on, which you're not going to get for that price, because embroidery adds more to it. My God, look at that belly.
I'd rather not be a fucking
kit.
No, it's not. This is, I'll show you here, right? This is a 2019 Ireland jersey. It's peeling off. The crisp is gone. Everything's coming off because all that side is heat treated. I have a 16-year-old jersey at home. Everything's stitched on. It's much better quality, and I prefer wearing that.
Yeah, but you know why you do that, Danny? You know what? Sorry, go on there. You
know why that is? Because you're fucking bursting out of that shirt, Brosnan. You're stretching all the elasticated, heat-treated stuff, whereas the embroidered stuff won't stretch.
All right, folks. Anyway, look, we're all right, we're well over time. Okay, Matt Boland, I'm coming to you first on the upcoming games, win, lose, or draw. We have first up Munster, Matt. Excuse me, are entertaining the Dragons. Who's winning, losing that?
Munster win.
Okay. Scarlets, Matt, are entertaining Ulster. Ooh, I don't know. Okay. And the Interpro, Matt, Connacht are entertaining Leinster. Oh, jeez, Matt must need to go for a piss. He's sharp on the ball there.
Giving out we're over time, so I was just being fucking quick for you.
Good man, thank you. Danny Brosnan, Munster versus Dragons.
Leinster.
Good man. Mike Reedy.
Same as
Munster, Ulster, Leinster.
Yeah.
All right. Dara Weston, you might give us a bit more padding on your thoughts. Munster versus Dragons.
Go give me the matches. Go on. You want to tell
Munster versus Dragons. Dragons have a not a bad record at home, but they're away this time.
I think Munster
I think.
Yeah, I think it is Munster. I'd say Munster at home.
Okay, Scarlets are entertaining Ulster. Ulster away.
Scarlets are entertaining Ulster, isn't it?
Yeah, so Ulster away.
I would hope Ulster can do it. I think the team have been getting very strong over the last while, so I would say Ulster.
Okay, and Dara, the Interpro, our team, Matt's team, Leinster, are being entertained by Connacht. How do you see that?
Yeah, I haven't seen.
Musgrave. It's actually Musgrave's Park, not Thomond.
Oh, is it? All right, okay. Thanks.
Virgin Media Park.
Oh, I see. Right. Yeah. All right. Okay.
Plastic pitch. Right. I haven't seen the lineups yet, but I would imagine there'd be the majority of the first pick Leinster players would be gone into the training camp because they're heading off on Sunday, isn't it, to Portugal for the warm weather training. So look, I mean, if it's a fairly young team, Leinster are putting out, you wouldn't know at home in the new stadium. Connacht could have it. I'd say it could be a tight enough game. I'd love to. The heart says Leinster, but the head says, look, we'll be missing a lot of players, so we better wrap up. We're keeping Danny there. He's trying to get out the door.
We're going to wrap up. Bev Ann Marie says Munster, Ulster, Connacht. Okay, thanks, Bev Ann. Kieran Ryan. Hi, Kieran again. Munster, Ulster, Connacht. That would not surprise me, Kieran, at all. Okay, that is, Jesus Christ, we're an hour and 15 minutes over. Right, folks, thank you very much. My thanks are to Danny Brosnan, the host of Monday's show, Mike Reedy, Matt Boland, and Dara Weston. And my thanks to all of you for watching and commenting. This show will be available on Spotify in about 5 or 10 minutes. You see, Matt, I do remember it sometimes. Anyway, thank you, folks. Take care, and we'll chat to you. Actually, Danny will chat to you next Monday. We will chat to you next Thursday. Enjoy the weekend. Thanks, folks. Take care.
Take care.